Colin, 20 years ago, almost to the day, you lost your son Tim. What does today mean to you?
It means a lot, Albert. It's a way that the town shows they remember as well, not just the families. The fact that so many people have stood here on a cold, chilly day with some hailstones and they've been here to mark the occasion 20 years ago means a great deal to us.
You mentioned when you spoke that possibly Tim might have had kids of his own now and walking this very street. That must tear you apart.
Well, it does. I mean, I can't dwell on that too much, as you know me well enough. If I talk on the personal level too much, I end up losing it. So I didn't stick on that point. But it's a simple fact. He might well have been walking down here with his own kids, extra grandchildren for me, and who knows what his life would have been like.
Taking us back to around the time when it happened, how soon after did you decide to pursue the peace angle?
I think after we did the BBC Panorama programme, which we did in the summer of '93, we saw so many things, met so many people, and that slowly the realisation came along that perhaps there was a part we could play as parents of a victim, and there was no clear plan at that stage, but I think the seed was planted by that TV programme, and over the year or two that followed, the plan became clearer through the mist, so that we started to do youth exchange work between Ireland and Warrington, and that was so successful that then Wendy had the plan or the dream of the Peace Centre. And once the Peace Centre was built, it really kick-started the whole thing onto a far higher level than it was in its early days.
How difficult was it when you actually met Gerry Adams and Martin McGuinness?
It was more difficult before it happened than it was when it happened. The anticipation was uneasy. Wendy in particular was very worried about meeting Martin McGuinness. But when we did meet him, the conversation was friendly, courteous, and although some people might expect me to criticise the man, I can't. He was another human being who talked to us. It was more difficult with Gerry Adams. The time we spent with him was shorter, and he seemed less at ease than Martin McGuinness did. So the conversation was polite, but that's probably all I can say.
Was there not the slightest temptation to grasp him warmly by the throat?
No, Albert, you know me. I'm not a fighting man. Well, I was a kid, I was, but I'm not now. No, I didn't want to inflict violence on them like their colleagues have done on us.
So, just to finish off, just tell us a little bit about what Tim was like.
Thank you very much. Very good, thanks.
He was cheerful, very sociable, very gregarious, outgoing. He had lots of friends, sports mad, cheeky, charming, bad taste in jokes. He was a 12-year-old kid. He was a 12-year-old kid. That defines it.
Abby mentioned on Facebook this morning that he loved the attention, so if he's looking down, he'd love this, wouldn't he?
He would think this is great, yes. And Abby thinks also he'd have been on the X Factor if that had been around then. I think she's probably right.
Thanks very much for talking to us, Colin.
Good to see you again.